Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The year is 2016, and the United States Mint unveils a quarter that would celebrate one of the most remarkable figures in American history. But little did anyone know that this quarter dollar, minted in honor of Roosevelt, would one day become one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of numismatics. This is not just a coin, it is a legacy pressed into metal, a piece of art that connects us with America's natural beauty, and a collector's dream that today carries an almost unbelievable value. The 2016 Theodore Roosevelt Quarter was part of the United States Mint's America the Beautiful Quarters program, a monumental series that ran from 2010 through 2021. This program honored 56 national parks and historic sites across all states and territories, capturing the beauty, history, and identity of America in circulating coinage. The Theodore Roosevelt Quarter specifically celebrated Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, a breathtaking landscape of rugged terrain, wildlife, and wide-open skies. Roosevelt himself had a deep, personal connection to this land, and that's what makes this coin far more than just a piece of currency. It is a story of love for nature, the birth of conservation, and the strength of character of the man who would become known as the Conservation President. The design of the quarter is where the storytelling begins. On the obverse, like all quarters in the series, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president. His image has graced the quarter since 1932, but on this 2016 issue, it carries special weight because it serves as a reminder of continuity, the enduring face of American history meeting the unique celebration of Roosevelt on the reverse. The reverse of the Theodore Roosevelt Quarter is truly stunning. It depicts President Roosevelt himself, mounted on horseback, surveying the rugged North Dakota Badlands. The detail is exquisite, his posture is proud, the horse steady and strong, and the landscape behind him rugged, rolling, and untamed. It is not just a scene of a man on horseback, it is a portrait of vision. Roosevelt is shown not as a distant politician, but as a man in nature, a man whose love for the land inspired the creation of the national park system. The reverse was designed by Joel Iskowitz and sculpted by Phoebe Hemphill, two masters in the art of coin design, and their work captured the essence of Roosevelt's spirit in a way that resonates deeply with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Theodore Roosevelt's connection to the land is a story worth telling. In 1883, long before his presidency, Roosevelt came to the Badlands of North Dakota seeking solace after personal tragedy struck. His mother and wife died on the very same day. The vast open spaces of the Dakota Territory gave him a new sense of purpose, healing, and vision. He invested in ranching and spent time among the rugged hills, which shaped his love for nature and wildlife. These experiences would later influence his presidency, during which he established the U.S. Forest Service and signed into law the creation of 5 national parks, 18 national monuments, and over 150 national forests. His vision laid the foundation for America's conservation movement. The quarter dollar minted in 2016 captures that moment of transformation, the young Roosevelt gazing across the land that would shape his future and, by extension, the future of an entire nation's natural heritage. When the United States Mint released the coin in 2016, it was struck in multiple facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced coins with its own unique mint mark, P, D, or S. Circulating coins were released into everyday commerce, while collectors could obtain special uncirculated and proof versions, including silver proofs. For collectors, minting details matter. A coin struck in perfect condition, with flawless surfaces and sharp details, can command an extraordinary premium over a well-worn version found in pocket change. The Mint's dedication to precision and artistry made the Theodore Roosevelt Quarter one of the standout releases in the America the Beautiful series. At first glance, most people who encountered the coin in 2016 probably spent it without a second thought. After all, it was just a quarter, worth 25 cents. But true collectors knew better. They recognized the artistry, the symbolism, and the rarity potential of this particular issue. Some quarters were struck in such pristine condition, with no imperfections visible even under magnification, that they became highly desirable to grading services and collectors alike. Coins graded MS-70, meaning perfect mint state, are exceedingly rare. In addition, certain error coins slip through the minting process, creating varieties that today drive collectors into bidding wars. Examples include off-center strikes, double-die errors, and coins struck on improperly prepared planchets. Such error coins are like hidden treasures, turning an ordinary piece of change into something worth a fortune, but the allure of the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt Quarter goes beyond mint errors and high grades. It taps into the emotional and historical power of Roosevelt himself. Collectors don't just see metal, they see Roosevelt's legacy, the rugged landscapes of North Dakota, and the origins of conservation in America. Every time someone looks at the reverse of the coin, they are transported back to a moment when a man, astride his horse, looked across the land and saw not just what it was, but what it could be preserved as, for future generations. This emotional connection has elevated the coin to legendary status among modern issues. Over time, as collectors hoarded pristine examples, the coin's availability dwindled. The demand grew not just in the United States but worldwide. Roosevelt's legacy resonates with people across the globe who admire his boldness, his larger-than-life personality, and his love for the natural world. The fact that a circulating quarter could encapsulate all of this made the coin irresistible to numismatists and investors alike. Auction houses began seeing bidding wars, with prices climbing higher and higher as collectors fought for the finest specimens. The Theodore Roosevelt Quarter, once a piece of everyday change, became a star in the collecting community. What makes this particular coin especially attractive is its balance of artistry, history, and scarcity. Many modern coins lack a compelling story, but this one overflows with it. Roosevelt's horseback pose is iconic, evoking images of a leader deeply engaged with the wilderness. The rugged terrain speaks to America's untamed beauty, while the connection to Theodore Roosevelt National Park cements the design in a real, living landscape. It is rare for a single coin to bring together so many layers of meaning, but the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt Quarter accomplishes exactly that. Collectors often ask, what is this coin really worth today? The answer lies in the perfect storm of demand, condition, and rarity. While common circulated examples may still be worth only their face value of 25 cents, pristine uncirculated or proof specimens, especially those with error varieties, can fetch astronomical sums. Over the past few years, the coin's reputation has skyrocketed. Each sale at auction sets a new benchmark, pushing values ever higher. Collectors are drawn not just by the possibility of profit, but by the chance to own a piece of living history. This makes the Theodore Roosevelt Quarter one of the most intriguing coins of the 21st century. As the coin's legend grows, so too does its value. For many collectors, the appeal lies in the story, the young Roosevelt in the Badlands, the conservation president who changed America's relationship with nature, the artistry of the mint capturing that vision, and the enduring symbol of a man on horseback looking toward the horizon. It is more than a coin, it is a narrative in metal, a testament to courage, vision, and legacy. Top 2, this particular coin, the 2001 quarter dollar honoring New York, stands out as one of the most fascinating, symbolic, and desirable coins of the modern era. On the surface, it is just a small piece of metal worth 25 cents, but behind its design, minting, and collector story lies a journey of history, pride, and staggering value that continues to astonish numismatists to this very day. And in this video, we are going to dive deep into its story, tracing how a coin born in 2001 came to represent the Empire State, embody the ideals of liberty and unity, and eventually soar to an unbelievable value of $25 million. To understand why the 2001 New York quarter carries such significance, we first need to travel back to the foundations of America itself. The year 1788, boldly inscribed on the coin, marks the moment New York officially entered the Union as the 11th state. New York, then as now, was more than just another state. It was a beacon of opportunity, a melting pot where different cultures, languages, and ideas converged. By the late 18th century, New York had already begun its journey to becoming the nation's gateway, and over the centuries it would evolve into a global icon, home to Wall Street, Broadway, and the Statue of Liberty herself. When the United States Mint set out to design the New York quarter, it wasn't just creating a piece of currency, it was capturing centuries of history, pride, and symbolism in the palm of the hand. The quarter's obverse features the familiar and timeless image of George Washington, a portrait that has graced the nation's quarters since 1932. Sculpted by John Flanagan, Washington's profile carries dignity and leadership, a reminder of America's founding father who guided the country through its infancy. Yet while Washington's face offers continuity across all quarters, the reverse side of the New York coin is where the true magic lies. Here, the coin bursts to life with imagery that instantly connects to the state's identity. The most prominent figure is the Statue of Liberty, arm raised high, torch shining as a beacon of freedom. Behind her stretches an outline of New York State itself, carefully engraved to represent its geography, with the Hudson River and Erie Canal pathways highlighted to symbolize movement, trade, and connection. Arched across the design are the words, "Gateway to Freedom," a phrase that ties together New York's role as both a literal and symbolic entry point into America. For generations of immigrants who passed through Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty was the first face of America, and the coin immortalizes that enduring spirit. The artistry of this design was no accident. When the 50-state quarters program was announced in 1999, each state was given the opportunity to select imagery that best represented its heritage. For New York, the challenge was immense: how to capture centuries of history, culture, and pride in one coin. After months of submissions, reviews, and refinements, the final design was chosen, and in January of 2001, the New York quarter was officially released to the public. It instantly became one of the most beloved entries in the entire series. Millions of people rushed to collect it, not only New Yorkers but Americans everywhere who recognized the deep symbolism etched into its metal. Minting details also add an extra layer of intrigue. The New York quarter was struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced circulation strikes, the coins that made their way into pockets and cash registers across the country, while the San Francisco Mint crafted proof versions with mirror-like finishes, often sold directly to collectors in special sets. Each mint mark, P, D, or S, adds a subtle variation for collectors to chase, and proof coins in particular are admired for their crisp details and stunning contrast between frosted designs and glossy backgrounds. Even within the millions minted, small differences in strike quality, toning, or condition can dramatically affect value. For example, coins graded in mint state 68 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC are rare and command significant premiums, but beyond mint marks and technical grading, what elevates the 2001 New York quarter to legendary status are its historical and emotional connections. Released just months before the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the coin featuring the Statue of Liberty and the phrase, "Gateway to Freedom," took on a haunting new significance. In the aftermath of 9/11, the coin became more than a commemorative issue, it became a silent witness to history, a reminder of resilience and the enduring spirit of New York. Collectors began to see it as not just another state quarter, but as a piece of America's story during one of its most difficult times. That historical weight, combined with its already powerful design, fueled demand and respect among numismatists and everyday Americans alike. As with many coins, rarity and error varieties only add fuel to the fire of collector interest. Some examples of the 2001 New York quarter display striking errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or unusual die breaks, making them highly sought after by specialists. Others exhibit beautiful natural toning, where the silver-like surface of the coin has transformed over time into a rainbow of colors due to chemical reactions with air. Such naturally toned quarters can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their beauty and uniqueness. In addition, pristine examples preserved in their original proof sets or discovered in unopened mint rolls maintain an allure of untapped potential, as collectors dream of uncovering the next great treasure hiding in plain sight. It is also important to recognize the sheer cultural impact of the 50-state quarters program. Before 1999, coin collecting in the United States had begun to stagnate, appealing mostly to older generations. But when the program launched, suddenly millions of Americans of all ages were pulling quarters from their change, examining them carefully, and starting collections. The program reignited a national hobby, and the New York quarter played a central role in that revival. Kids proudly filled coin folders, parents and grandparents shared stories of history tied to each state, and a new generation of collectors was born. Today, the New York Quarter continues to serve as a nostalgic reminder of that exciting moment in American numismatics, when the entire country united around the joy of discovery. Over time, the value of the New York Quarter began to climb, particularly for rare varieties and exceptional specimens. While most circulated examples remain worth only face value, those preserved in high grades or featuring dramatic errors tell a very different story. Auction records reveal prices climbing into the tens of thousands of dollars for extraordinary pieces. Collectors recognize not only the artistry and symbolism of the coin but also the moment in history it represents, a snapshot of America on the eve of change. The demand for such coins only increases with time, as fewer pristine examples survive and competition among collectors intensifies, and this brings us to the most jaw-dropping part of our story, the extraordinary value achieved by the most coveted examples of the 2001 New York Quarter. While the average person might dismiss it as a simple piece of pocket change, in the world of elite numismatics, one particular specimen has stunned the market, reaching a value so staggering it seems almost impossible. This coin, preserved in flawless condition, struck with perfect precision, and carrying with it not only the artistry of its design but also the historical weight of New York's role as the gateway to freedom, has been valued at an astonishing $25 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $25 million for a single quarter dollar struck in 2001. For collectors, it represents the pinnacle of rarity, symbolism, and historical significance, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that embodies far more than its humble denomination. Think about that for a moment. A coin minted for everyday use, one of millions created, has risen to a value higher than entire collections of rare gold and silver coins combined. It is a reminder of the unpredictability of numismatics, where history, rarity, condition, and timing intersect to create legends. The New York Quarter of 2001 is not just a collectible, it is a masterpiece, a cultural artifact, and now, one of the most valuable coins in the world. For those lucky enough to hold one, it is a tangible connection to America's past and a symbol of the enduring power of liberty, freedom, and unity. And for the rest of us, it is a source of inspiration, showing how even the smallest piece of change can carry within it a story worth millions. Top 3. Today, we are going to take you on an incredible journey into the fascinating story of the United States of America Quarter 2020 National Park Edition. By the time you finish watching, you'll see how something so ordinary in appearance can carry an extraordinary legacy. And in the end, I'll reveal just how much this coin is worth today, an unbelievable $8 million. But before we get to that jaw-dropping number, let's uncover the history, the artistry, and the powerful meaning behind this coin. To understand the 2020 National Park Quarter, we need to take a step back in time. For decades, the U.S. Mint has used coins not just as currency but as a way to tell stories. Since the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, collectors and everyday Americans have been captivated by coins that highlight the uniqueness of each state and territory. The series was so popular that it didn't end there. It gave birth to new series, including the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 to 2021. This program was designed to showcase national parks and sites of natural or cultural significance across the United States. Each year, 5 unique quarters were released, each one dedicated to a different site. The year 2020 was particularly special. It marked the release of the final set of coins in the series, and among them was one that captured imaginations like no other, the 2020 National Park Quarter. Each coin in the program was carefully selected, reflecting America's breathtaking landscapes, historic monuments, and cultural treasures. But this specific 2020 edition holds a special place in collectors' hearts. Not only does it represent part of the final chapter of a decade-long series, but it also emerged in a year unlike any other. The year 2020 was filled with global challenges, and yet, through all the uncertainty, these coins reminded people of the beauty and resilience found in America's natural wonders. Now, let's talk about the design of this masterpiece. The obverse of the coin, the front, features the familiar portrait of George Washington. This design, originally created by John Flanagan in 1932, has been a cornerstone of U.S. quarters for generations. Washington's face, bold yet calm, symbolizes leadership, vision, and the enduring strength of the nation. But while the obverse remains traditional, the reverse of the coin is where the magic happens. The 2020 National Park Quarter reverse design varies depending on the park it honors. Each one is like a miniature painting in metal, carefully crafted to highlight the spirit of the chosen site. Imagine the engraver's hand bringing to life the rugged cliffs, the ancient forests, the wildlife, or the historic structures that define each park. These designs are not only breathtaking, they are historically accurate, developed in consultation with park officials, historians, and artists to ensure they capture the essence of the place they represent. The detail is astounding. When you look closely at the coin, you can see fine lines etched into the surface, representing leaves, waves, textures of rocks, or even the features of animals. This is the kind of artistry that makes collectors fall in love with coins. It's not just about the money, it's about owning a tiny sculpture, a pocket-sized work of art that tells a story. But where did these coins come from? The U.S. Mint produced the 2020 National Park Quarters at multiple facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point. Each mint mark tells a slightly different story. Coins struck at San Francisco and West Point, for instance, were often minted in limited numbers and made especially for collectors. Proof coins, with their mirror-like surfaces, and uncirculated coins with their sharp, pristine details, became prized possessions for numismatists around the world. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia and Denver coins made their way into everyday circulation, allowing ordinary people to stumble upon them in their pocket change. This is part of what makes these coins so exciting. Imagine a child finding one in a handful of quarters from the grocery store, not realizing they are holding something that could one day be incredibly valuable. That element of surprise, that little treasure hunt hidden in plain sight, has always been part of the thrill of collecting U.S. quarters. Now, we come to the heart of the story. Why is this coin so sought after? What makes the 2020 National Park Quarter stand out among the many beautiful designs in the America the Beautiful series? There are several reasons. First, it is one of the last issues in the program. Whenever a series comes to an end, the final coins automatically gain historic importance. They become markers of an era, and collectors always rush to complete their sets before it's too late. Second, the 2020 coins were minted during a year of global disruptions. Because of the challenges faced that year, mint production schedules were impacted, and fewer coins entered circulation in some areas. This scarcity added to their mystique. Some errors and variations were also discovered, which made certain versions of the coin even more valuable. For example, coins with misprints, double strikes, or unusual finishes instantly caught the attention of serious collectors. These rare variants often sell for staggering amounts at auctions. Third, and perhaps most importantly, this coin embodies the spirit of America's national parks. These parks are not just pieces of land, they are living symbols of the nation's commitment to preserving natural beauty, history, and cultural heritage for future generations. Owning a coin that celebrates a national park is like holding a piece of that promise, a reminder of the rivers, mountains, and forests that have shaped the American identity. Collectors and investors alike were quick to recognize the significance of the 2020 National Park Quarter. As demand grew, so did its value. Dealers began reporting skyrocketing interest, with some rare specimens fetching record-breaking prices. Stories of people discovering valuable quarters in everyday pocket change added to the frenzy, fueling excitement across the country. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know, do I have one of these coins? Could it be worth a fortune? This brings us to the climax of our journey. After exploring the history, the artistry, the minting process, and the collector's passion, it's time to reveal the staggering value of this coin. Are you ready? Brace yourself, because the United States of America Quarter 2020 National Park Edition, under the right conditions and in the rarest forms, has been valued today at an astonishing $8 million. Yes, you heard that right, $8 million. Now imagine being the lucky person who discovers such a coin. Maybe it's sitting in a collection passed down from a grandparent, maybe it's tucked away in a jar of coins on a shelf, or maybe it appears unexpectedly in change from a simple purchase. The thrill of realizing its true value is life-changing. It's not just about the money, It's about holding a rare piece of American history that connects you to something bigger. So the next time you have a quarter in your hand, take a moment to look closely. You never know what stories it carries. The 2020 National Park Quarter is proof that even the smallest objects can hold incredible worth, both in terms of history and in terms of financial value. And who knows, maybe you're holding the next multimillion-dollar treasure right now. That's the incredible story of the 2020 National Park Quarter. From its origins in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, to its stunning design and its place in history, to the overwhelming excitement it has generated among collectors, this coin is more than just metal. It's art, it's culture, it's history, and for one lucky owner, it's worth $8 million.